Hello everyone and welcome back to another Doctor Who ranking video, and today I'm going to be ranking all of the Doctor's regenerations. Okay, so only the Doctor's regenerations, no River Song, no Master, all of that stuff, so just the Doctor's. Also I'm not counting, so when I do rank these, I'm not taking into account the regeneration stories. I'll rank that later on the channel. So just the regeneration scene itself and looking at how well they did it. So let's get started. It's just my opinion. So let's start with number 13. This might come as a shock to some people. The regeneration of Patrick Troughton. This one for me is just a bit weird. I don't know if it's down to Troughton's performance or the writers. Probably the writers, actually, because firstly, I don't like how all the faces are appearing, and I don't like him choosing which one he wants. I just think that's a little bit unnecessary because he doesn't even get the one he wants in the end. I also don't like how we don't even see him regenerate. We don't see John Pertwee coming up. I just think the whole face spinning round thing is a bit odd, but yeah, it's fine. I just think they went a little bit overboard with this one, and now you know how he's going. Stop! You're making me dizzy. Yeah, it's just a little bit weird. Number 12, probably the one you're expecting at the bottom. The 6th Doctor to the 7th Doctor, or I suppose you could say 7th Doctor with a wig to the 7th Doctor without a wig, because we'll get to that in a minute. But I think when you take away the bad things, which we'll get to in a minute, I think the fade is actually pretty good. You know, you've got all that stuff coming out of Colin Becker's face. Well, not Colin Becker's face, Sylvester McCoy's face. I think the fade is pretty good. But then when you have a look at why he's regenerating and who it is, when you realise that it's just Sylvester McCoy in a wig, it's a little bit off-putting. But I think the fade, like I said, is pretty good. Number 11, William Hartnell to Patrick Troughton in The 10th Planet. The first ever regeneration, and yes, it does get an extra few points for this. I think the ranking would probably stay the same. But yeah, this one is just very, very simple. It's just a fade from William Hartnell to Patrick Troughton. You can actually barely tell that they're different faces, that they look really similar. Because all you can see is their face, you can't see their full body, so it does look quite similar. That's the only real downside about this one, but you know, there's nothing too bad to say about this one, because it's just a very simple fade, because this was only 1996. Number 10, Sylvester McCoy's regeneration, the 7th Doctor to the 8th Doctor in the TV movie. This one I think was just a little bit rushed. Now, I haven't seen the TV movie, but I can kind of see where it went. Oh, because they thought, okay, we're going to have Paul McGann as the Doctor, but Sylvester McCoy hasn't regenerated yet, so we'll just throw him in at the start, and he can regenerate, and then we can do a movie. It just feels like it's tagged on at the beginning instead of it being part of the story. That's how I feel. Now, I haven't seen the TV movie, so that might be different. This ranking might change, so that might have something to do with it. But also, I just think Sylvester McCoy goes a little bit over the top with the faces he's pulling. But yeah, that's the only complaint. That's all I've got to say. Apart from the why he regenerates, he just gets shot. I think it's a bit of a rubbish way for a Doctor to go. Number 9, the 3rd Doctor to the 4th Doctor in Planet of the Spiders, so John Pertwee to Tom Baker. Again, it's just very, very simple. It's just a very, very simple fade. Nothing really bad about it. About this one, it's just a fade. I think the acting is very, very good from John Pertwee, Elizabeth Sladen, and Nicholas Courtney. I think it's all very good, and the Brigadier Lethbridge Stewart going, here we go again. It's very, very good. But like I say, it's just a very, very simple fade. Number 8, the 4th Doctor to the 5th Doctor. So again, a bit of a rubbish way for the Doctor to go, just falling off a pylon. This was in Legopolis, so this Tom Baker's last episode. So he's had 7 years on the show, from 1974 to 1981, and it's a really, really big era. And for him to just fall off a pylon, for me, it's a little bit of anti-climax. I haven't seen the Goblins. I haven't seen any of the classic. I haven't seen any of these stories. So, which I know it might be a little bit unfair to rank these, but it just seems like a little bit of an anticlimax. I think the fade looks pretty good. Maybe they went a little bit over the top. The Watcher, with that all stuff. But I think the fade's very, very good. Number 7. The War Doctor to the 9th Doctor in the Day of the Doctor. This one, so they did the same thing with, the 9th and 10th Doctor regeneration, where they have that regeneration energy coming out of their heads, coming out of their head and both of their hands. And I love that. I think that sequence is very, very good. We'll get to those in a minute. But this is probably just down to John Hurt's age, because he was an old actor to play at the time. I think he was in his late 70s when he did it, maybe even early 80s. I don't know. Probably late 70s though. So he is an older actor, and it's just, you need more oomph into this one if you're going to do this regeneration. But that's the only real complaint, and I can't blame the show for that. I can't blame anything for that regeneration. Number 6. The 5th Doctor to the 6th Doctor in the Caves of Androzani. I've heard the Caves of Androzani is absolutely brilliant, and the 5th Doctor's best story, because I've heard this era isn't amazing, but this one is a really, really good episode. And this regeneration, I think it's the best classic regeneration. I don't really like the whole purpley, the vortex thingy that they had going on there. I wasn't a big fan of that, but I think all of his companions going round his head saying, "Don't die, Doctor," and the Master coming up saying, "Yes, die, Doctor." I really do like that. It kind of reminded me of Patrick Troughton's regeneration. Not as bad as that, but yeah. And I think the fade's great, and Colin Baker's first words, "You expected someone else?" Number 5. The 11th Doctor to the 12th Doctor. Matt Smith to Peter Capaldi in the Time of the Doctor. I like the Time of the Doctor. I don't love it. I've done a review on this episode. I've also done a review on Day of the Doctor. And I talked about how the speech is great. The speech is really good. I like how they play, the long song in the background. The song that he played in the Rings of Acton. Like that. I also like Amy Pond's cameo. Like I said, the speech is amazing. I think Jenna Coleman is very, very good in this scene as well, considering I'm not the biggest fan of Clara. But then he's just in that big long speech, and then the regeneration. He falls off the camera backwards, and then Peter Capaldi just pops on forwards. It's a bit lazy, and for me, I think it looks good, kind of, but I just think it's a little bit rushed, very rushed, and a bit lazy. Number 4. The 8th Doctor to the War Doctor, Paul McGann to John Hurt in The Night of the Doctor. I love The Night of the Doctor. That is a great, great mini episode. And the regeneration is great. And I think Paul McGann is great in it. Like I said, I haven't seen the TV movie, but I've seen bits of it. And from what I've seen, I didn't really like Paul McGann in the TV movie, and he was great. The regeneration energy looks very, very good. Yeah, not too much to say about this one because it is only a mini episode, but I think Paul McGann is great in it, like I keep saying. Number 3. 9th Doctor to the 10th Doctor, Christopher Eccleston to David Tennant in The Parting of the Ways. Unfortunately, this one was earlier than expected, because Christopher Eccleston only had one series. It was a very, very good series, one of my favourites for sure. I think this regeneration is great. Like I said, I really do like that regeneration energy coming out of his head and his hands. It looks great. I also love his speech before the regeneration. It's just straight down there, and he's explaining what regeneration is to Rose, and for fans who haven't seen Classic Who. I think it's great. And the 10th Doctor's first words, Barcelona. is great. It's just a really good regeneration in a really good episode, actually. I love Parting of the Ways. It's a great one. Number 2, I had a really hard time figuring out which order I was going to put them in. And on a different day, I would probably go for something different. This is what I'm going to for now. Number 2, the 10th Doctor to the 11th Doctor. This one is amazing. It is. I have only one issue with that, but this one you can probably guess what it is. But the music is great. The acting is fantastic. David Tennant is amazing. The explosions and going off in the TARDIS are amazing. But the only thing that's letting this one down for me is I don't want to go. I just feel like it's a really bad final words for the 10th Doctor, who had an amazing era. I don't want to go. Really? Is that all you've got? Number 1, and if you've been paying attention, doing the maths, and getting your checklist out, you will know what's number 1. It is the 12th Doctor to the 13th Doctor. This is amazing. From the music to the speech, the acting, the regeneration energy, everything about this one is amazing, but mainly the music and the speech. It is great. Probably, I think Murray Gold's soundtracks for the 12th Doctor weren't amazing, I don't think, but this is fantastic. It is great. I think the Series 10 soundtrack overall was really good. Series 8 and 9 was decent. I mean, I think the Doctor Who soundtrack is iconic, so it was still great, but it wasn't as good as 10th, 9th, 10th, and 11th. But yeah, this one's great. The regeneration, energy, the explosions, Jodie Whittaker's first appearance, everything about this one is amazing. So there you go, that is my ranking of all of the regenerations of Doctor Who. I do hope you enjoyed this one. If you did, please leave a like and subscribe if you haven't done already, and ring the bell to get notified about my latest videos. Thank you for watching, really appreciate it. Bye for now.